A mysterious medieval weapon burned directly on the open sea. It wasn't standard fire. It was weaponized liquid chemistry. A superpower survived for centuries. The exact chemical recipe was fiercely guarded in hidden vaults. Specialized naval flamethrowers sprayed the toxic burning fluid. Entire enemy fleets dissolved into thick, black, blinding smoke. It became the ultimate psychological weapon of mass destruction. This is the declassified archive of history's most terrifying fire. By the 7th century, the Byzantine Empire faced total annihilation. Massive naval invasions closed in on the capital from every direction. Constantinople's massive defensive walls were about to be breached. The desperate empire required an alchemist named Callinicus offered a radical chemical solution. He delivered a highly unstable incendiary compound to the military. The weapon was instantly categorized under maximum security clearance. The government divided the recipe among separate elite silos. No single engineer knew the entire chemical composition. Ingredients like naphtha, sulfur, and quicklime were heavily regulated. Transporting the raw materials required absolutes. Imperial workshops frantically manufactured wooden naval vessels were custom-fitted to carry the hardware. Long pressurized brass siphons were mounted directly onto ship prows. Air pumps were built to pressurize the chemical tanks below. A single mechanical failure could incinerate the Byzantine crew instead. The defense planners waited for the enemy fleet to advance. The incoming siege ships completely filled the outer harbor line. Byzantine operators prepared the siphons under cover of fog. The ignition systems were lit directly behind protected iron shields. Panic swept through the defense lines as the distance closed. The master valve opened, releasing the weapon for first contact. Rumors swirled about the mysterious components of this ancient flame. The emperor enforced strict capital punishment for leaking ingredient origins. Some theories suggest volatile quicklime was a natural pine resin was boiled to give the weapon stickiness. Distilling the sticky formula required highly hazardous thermal processing. Every processed batch vanished inside heavily marked ceramic jars. Siloed bureaucratic cells kept the exact mixing ratios entirely separate. No written records of the complete chemical process survived long. Strategic storage depots were hidden across secret Mediterranean naval ports. Thousands of gallons of incendiary fuel waited for mobilization orders. The inner laboratories remained under constant. Unauthorized personnel crossing into production zones. Modern science still debates whether sulfur was used for ignition. Weapon designers engineered highly bronze siphons turned chemistry into lethal ancient naval artillery. Pneumatic air pumps were constructed to force the liquid forward. Copper valves regulated the unstable flow of the pressurized mixture. The propulsion hardware required extreme engineering precision for the era. Pressurized fuel containers were reinforced with thick rope wrap bindings.
The weapon systems were mounted exclusively inside custom warship bows.
Launch operators practiced firing procedures without using live liquid fuel. The naval siphons could swivel to target incoming enemy hulls.
A constant pilot flame burned inside an armored bronze housing.
Nozzle diameters were calculated strictly. Crew members operated manual air pumps to build internal pressure. The specific ships carrying the flame weapon held elite status. Firing the device in heavy seas presented extreme tactical risk. Excess tank pressure could rupture the copper casing, destroying everything. The hardware was locked down as the target fleet arrived. The fleet sailed into direct combat with siphons. The command was executed, unleashing the highly pressurized. A dense torrent of liquid fire shot across the water toward enemy ships. The incendiary mixture instantly clung to foreign wooden. Blinding black smoke completely obscured the enemy fleet's formation. Archivist reports from the era speak of a blinding light. Psychological terror quickly broke the invading army's operation. Entire invading armada groups disintegrated in moments. The survivors retreated, abandoning the siege in complete. The sea returned to silence. The empire maintained its total control over regional neighborhoods. Strict classification policies kept the force. The physical deployment systems were dismantled immediately after combat ops. Detailed technical descriptions were deliberately omitted from offense. The manufacturing sites were sealed to protect institutions. Key production components were permanently deactivated during the formula was successfully kept away from foreign military powers throughout the entire. Secrecy was the ultimate weapon, but it carried a heavy. As the regional state slowly declined, critical alchemical knowledge was lost during successive civil war periods. Elite alchemical families died out without patent. By later centuries, the formula had largely vanished. Modern chemical engineers still attempt to reverse engineer. The exact mixture remains one of military history's greatest agents. The fire vanished, but the strategic.
The chemical fire is long dead.
The tactical principles of secrecy remain. Generations of ancient invaders faced an impossible chemical wall at sea. Every modern analysis yields only partial guesses about ingredient combinations. Curators handle the surviving mechanical hardware artifacts under maximum security. The remaining bronze siphons tell a story of unmatched secrecy. Declassification of ancient strategic lore. Historians continue to sift through The weapon vanished alongside the fallen empire that created it. The weapon vanished alongside the fallen empire that created it. Clean textbooks rarely capture the true paranoia behind imperial defense weapons. The ultimate ancient weapon of mass destruction. Constantinople's old alchemical lab. Broken fragments of ceramic jars are all that remain today. The classified formula took its complete recipe to the grave permanently. The waters where fleets burned are now peaceful trade channels. Modern researchers still analyze the physical bronze siphons for residue. The mechanical design was genius. The chemical compound was lethal. Pneumatic projection technology peaked early inside these secret naval armaments. Every procurement detail was masked to protect state survival margins. Strategic planners engineered a system where information leaked. The files containing weapon specs stayed locked down for a millennium. Phantom fires guarded the Bosporus Straits better than massive armies could. The recipe was deliberately divided so no single betrayer could sell it. Imperial defensive strategy balanced perfectly between chemical power. A secret weapon is only powerful as long as it remains hidden. Strategic minds still study the legacy of Byzantine. They know that controlled information is more valuable than heavy armor. Greek fire stands as an eternal monument to ancient tactical wit. A reminder that warfare often relies entirely on wood. The burning liquid is gone. The scribe for more buried chapters from the dark archive.